Wait. You know what's crazy? There's this German saying that's been haunting me lately. Wissen ist das Licht, das Dunkelheit erhellt. Knowledge is the light that illuminates darkness. And I know what you're thinking. Oh, great, another motivational quote, right? But hear me out, because this hit me like a truck last Tuesday. I was sitting in my car, stuck in traffic, and I had this moment where I looked around at all these people, everyone just going through their day, most of them probably stressed, confused, dealing with the same problems over and over, and it clicked. We're all just wandering around in the dark, like literally stumbling through life without the knowledge we actually need. And the worst part? We don't even know we're in the dark until someone turns on a light. It's like when you wake up in the middle of the night to use the bathroom, and you think you know where everything is because it's your house, you've lived there forever, but then you absolutely demolish your shin on the corner of the bed because you forgot you moved it last week. That's us. That's how we live our entire lives, operating on outdated information, false assumptions, stuff we were told as kids that isn't even true, and we just keep crashing into the same furniture over and over, wondering why life is so hard. I've been thinking about this nonstop because once you see it, you can't unsee it. So let me tell you what I mean by darkness, because this isn't about being uneducated or stupid or anything like that. I know incredibly smart people, like PhD level smart, who are absolutely clueless about basic life things. And I know people who barely finished high school who understand human nature better than most therapists I've met. The darkness I'm talking about is something different. It's not knowing what you don't know. It's walking around with a completely wrong map of reality in your head, but trusting it anyway because it's the only map you've got. Here's a perfect example. My friend Sarah, brilliant woman, works in tech, makes good money, but she's been in toxic relationships her entire adult life. Every single boyfriend, same pattern. Starts great, turns controlling, ends in disaster. And I watched this happen 4 times before I finally asked her, "Do you see the pattern?" And she looked at me like I just spoken another language. She genuinely didn't see it. She was in the dark about her own behavior, about what healthy relationships even look like, about the red flags she keeps ignoring. And because she didn't have that knowledge, that awareness, she just kept walking into the same wall expecting different results. That's darkness. It's not stupidity, it's operating without the information you need to make better choices. And we all have areas like this. All of us. Places where we're just fumbling around completely blind, wondering why things keep going wrong. Now here's where this gets really interesting. The light part. When you actually learn something, like genuinely understand it, not just memorize it for a test, something shifts in your brain. It's like someone literally flipped a switch and suddenly you can see things that were invisible 2 seconds ago. I'll never forget when I finally understood how compound interest actually works. Not just, oh yeah, interest on interest, but like really got it. The mathematics, the psychology, why it matters, how time amplifies everything. It was like someone had been hiding the entire game of money from me my whole life, and suddenly I could see the playing field. Decisions I'd made that seemed fine before suddenly looked insane. Opportunities I'd missed became painfully obvious. And here's the thing, once you see it, you can't unsee it. The light stays on. Like when you learn that thing about seeing the arrow in the FedEx logo. Once someone points it out, you'll see it forever. Knowledge works the same way. When I learned about confirmation bias, about how our brains automatically filter information to confirm what we already believe, I started seeing it everywhere. In arguments with my girlfriend, in political discussions, in why people can't change their minds even when they're clearly wrong, in my own thinking. You can't turn it off. And each thing you learn makes the next thing easier to learn because you're building this web of understanding where everything connects. It's wild. But okay, let's get practical because I don't want this to just be philosophical rambling. How does this actually matter in your real life, right now, today? Here's the truth bomb. Every single problem you're dealing with exists because there's something you don't know or something you think you know that's actually wrong. You're broke. You either don't know how to create real value that people will pay for, or you don't know how to manage money, or both. Probably both. You're out of shape? You don't know the right way to eat for your body, or you don't understand habit formation, or you don't know how to stay consistent. Your relationships keep failing? You don't know how to communicate without getting defensive, or you don't understand attachment styles, or you keep choosing the wrong people because you don't know what compatibility actually looks like. And notice, I'm not saying you're lazy or broken or whatever. I'm saying you're missing specific knowledge. And that's actually amazing news, because while you can't always change your circumstances immediately, you can always learn. Always. The person who's in great shape, they know things about nutrition and exercise that you don't know yet. The person who's wealthy, they understand money and business in ways you haven't learned yet. The person in a happy relationship, they've figured out things about communication and emotional intelligence that you're still in the dark about. But here's the beautiful part. Knowledge transfers. You can learn what they know. The gap isn't talent or luck or being special, it's just knowledge, and knowledge is available. Here's where everyone screws this up though, and I did this for years, so I'm calling myself out too. We live in this insane time where you can learn basically anything on your phone in like 10 minutes. There's more information available right now than someone 100 years ago could access in their entire lifetime. So why is everyone more confused than ever? Why are we all anxious and lost and overwhelmed? Because information and knowledge are not the same thing, and most people never make that jump. Information is just random facts floating around. Meditation is good for you. You should network to advance your career. Exercise releases endorphins. Okay, cool. So what? Everyone knows that stuff, and nobody does it. Knowledge is when you've internalized something so deeply that it actually changes your behavior. It's the difference between reading about swimming and being able to swim, between knowing about psychology and actually understanding people well enough to navigate real conversations. I used to consume so much content, podcasts while driving, YouTube videos while eating, books before bed, and I felt like I was learning all the time, but nothing in my actual life changed because I was just collecting information like baseball cards. I never did the hard work of transforming it into real understanding. I never tested it, practiced it, struggled with it, failed at it, adjusted my understanding, tried again. It's uncomfortable and slow, which is why most people don't do it, which is why most people stay in the dark even though they're constantly learning. Let me walk you through how you actually move from darkness to light, because I've been doing this systematically for the past year and it's changed everything. First step, and this is the one that hurts, you have to admit you're in the dark. You have to look at the parts of your life that aren't working and say, I clearly don't understand this as well as I think I do. That's brutal on the ego. We all want to believe we're smart, we've got it figured out, and if things aren't working, it's because of bad luck or other people or whatever. But real change starts with honesty. So I did this exercise where I wrote down every area of my life where I'm getting results I don't want. Career stuff, relationship stuff, health stuff, money stuff, and for each one, I forced myself to write, I am in the dark about, and complete the sentence. That was hard, but each of those is an area that needs light. Second step, find the right teachers. This is crucial because not all knowledge is equal and not all teachers know what they're talking about. You want to learn from people who've actually done the thing you want to do. Not theorists, not motivational speakers, people with real results. Like, don't take business advice from someone who's never built a successful business. Don't take relationship advice from someone who's been divorced 4 times. Sounds obvious, but people do this constantly. Third step, engage deeply. Don't just watch videos and feel productive. Take notes, ask questions, test things in real life. Teach someone else what you're learning. That's when you find out if you actually understand it. Fourth step, give it time. Knowledge becomes wisdom, but that transformation takes repetition and practice and patience. You can't rush it. Now, someone's going to say, but isn't ignorance bliss? Don't we get happier when we don't know things? And look, I get the appeal. There's definitely a comfort in not knowing. Like the person who doesn't know their partner is cheating feels better in the moment than the person who finds out. The person who doesn't know about all the problems in the world gets to go through life without those worries. But that's not real peace. That's the fake comfort of living in a fantasy that's going to collapse eventually. And when it does collapse, the crash is so much worse than if you just faced reality from the start. Real knowledge, even painful knowledge, gives you power. It lets you make actual informed decisions instead of just hoping for the best. Yeah, sometimes learning hurts. I learned some things about myself this year that I really didn't want to know. But would I rather live in a comfortable delusion? Hell no. Because here's what happens when you choose ignorance. You get this constant background anxiety from knowing, deep down, that you're operating blindly, that there are threats you can't see, problems you don't understand, opportunities you're missing. The light of knowledge, even when it shows you uncomfortable truths, brings more real peace than darkness ever could, because at least you can see clearly, at least you can plan, at least you know what you're dealing with.
Every spiritual tradition that's really dug into human happiness eventually comes to the same conclusion. Truth and wisdom are necessary for real peace, not comfortable lies. Truth. And this isn't just personal, by the way. You can literally watch this play out across all of human history. Every civilization that flourished did it by valuing knowledge. Libraries, universities, free exchange of ideas, protecting thinkers and innovators. Every dark age, and they're literally called dark ages, happened when knowledge got suppressed. Books burned, scientists persecuted, dogma replacing curiosity. And right now, today, you could look at different countries and predict which ones will thrive based almost entirely on how they treat education and information. Countries with strong schools, freedom of information, cultures that value learning, they do well. Countries where knowledge is controlled, education is terrible, ignorance is weaponized, they struggle. Same thing on an individual level. The